What's going on, guys? It's Clutch Plays here, and you guys did enjoy my video that I posted about a month ago on 4 potential blockbuster trades. So today I decided to create another 4 blockbuster trades that will shock the NBA. The NBA is so wide open, and with the DeMarcus Cousins injury, the NBA is even more wide open. So expect the teams who are on the brink of being in championship contention making big moves during the season to improve their odds at winning a championship. The season is coming to a start, so these trades could still happen as soon as tomorrow, but most likely these trades would have to occur during the season or at the trade deadline when certain teams have a better idea of how close or far away they are from competing for a championship. With that said, let's hop into the trades. Bradley Beal to the Celtics. In this trade, Bradley Beal and Ian Mahinmi get sent to the Celtics, and Gordon Hayward, Marcus Smart, Romeo Langford, and the Grizzlies' first-round pick are all sent to the Wizards. This trade is a lot on the side of the Celtics, but if they can pull this off, they will use the last of their assets to get a top 3 shooting guard in the entire NBA. The Celtics signed Kemba Walker this offseason to a max contract, and if they can acquire another star to put in the backcourt with him, they can quickly go from a contender to come out of the East to one of the favorites. On top of this, Bradley Beal is currently eligible to sign a 3-year, $111 million contract extension with the Wizards, and the contract has been offered to him, but he has not accepted the deal yet. This does not mean he is not going to sign it later in the season, but it does show that there's some skepticism in his mind about staying with the Wizards. Bradley Beal has made it clear that he wants to win, and going to the Celtics would be the ideal situation for him. 1, he stays in the East, and 2, he joins one of the teams who is already on the brink of making it out of the East. On the flip side, the Wizards might think that Bradley Beal may win out after seeing how bad the Wizards will be this season, so instead of waiting for him to request a trade, the Wizards may want to trade him when his value is at its highest. Plus, what good is it to have an all-star on your team who is in the prime of his career when you know you are going to be one of the worst teams in the league? In this deal, the Wizards get cap relief with the Celtics taking the $15.4 million contract of Ian Mahinmi and a future first-round pick that could be very valuable in the future, depending on how the Grizzlies do this season and the next season. Finally, the Wizards get Marcus Smart and Gordon Hayward, who can teach their young players how to compete on the defensive side of the ball and add overall depth to their team once they begin to compete a bit more. Or the Wizards can even flip them for more young players and prospects at the trade deadline. This trade works perfectly for both sides, and this trade is not exact, by the way. Each team can add or subtract certain picks, so don't take this completely literal and focus on the main players being traded. Rockets GM Daryl Morey is all about taking risks and getting star players, so what better way than to get Kevin Love onto the Rockets? The Rockets just traded away Chris Paul and picks for Russell Westbrook, showing that they are doing everything they possibly can to win right now. The Rockets right now are slated to be a 4 to 5 seed in the West and could possibly miss the second round of the playoffs. No one knows how the combination of Westbrook and Harden will do in the NBA, but if it works out to perfection, I don't even know if the Rockets are even in championship contention. If the Rockets want to have a serious shot at winning a championship this season, they may need to trade for another great player or even star player to add to their team. In this trade, the Rockets send Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker, Daniel House, a 2028 first-round pick lottery protected, and 4 second-round picks to the Cavs in return for Kevin Love. The contracts may need to change a bit for this to work, or a trade exception will need to be added to the trade, but this trade gives the Rockets a chance to compete with the Lakers and the Clippers. Unlike Westbrook and Harden, Kevin Love does not need the ball in his hands to be successful. He is a great 3-point shooter, a great rebounder, and an excellent passer. This fit is perfect on the Rockets, and if this trade happens, it would be crazy to see how this combination would play. Now, the Cavs are nowhere near playoff contention and won't be for a couple years, so getting rid of your best player and a player who takes up the most cap space will help your team tank and get more assets for the future. The Cavs will tank even better now, and I don't know what the Rockets would give up for Kevin Love, but if I were to guess, it would be something along these lines. LaMarcus Aldridge to the Nuggets. In the third trade, the Nuggets trade Paul Millsap and Michael Porter Jr. to the Spurs in return for LaMarcus Aldridge and Bryn Ford. The Nuggets are in a position where this is the last year they will have a significant amount of cap space available in trades because Paul Millsap's $30 million contract will expire, but Jamal Murray's extension will kick in. With that said, the Nuggets are close to being in championship contention, but they are not there quite yet. In this trade, the Nuggets are betting on themselves that with this move, they will become a championship contending team this season. Marcus Aldridge is much better than Paul Millsap, and more importantly is locked up for a few more years, so the Nuggets will be able to keep him once Jamal Murray's contract extension affects the Nuggets' cap space. I definitely see the Nuggets making some sort of move to set themselves up better in the future, and this may just be it. The Spurs, however, will realize pretty early into the season that they are going to be fighting hard for an 8 seed, which will result in most likely a playoff exit in the first round. Instead, the Spurs trade one of their best players away and accept that they are not going to make the playoffs, or if they do, they'll get swept, and they will shift their focus on competing for a championship in 1 to 2 years from now. They already have a great core of DeJounte Murray, Derek White, Lonnie Walker, Keldon Johnson, and Jakob Poeltl, so adding Michael Porter Jr. to this core, who all of these players are coached by Pop, will only lead to an extremely successful team in the future. This trade fits on both sides, but as I said earlier, just focus on the main pieces of the deal, because teams will add picks and money to balance out the trade. Mo Bamba to the Hawks. The final trade is Mo Bamba and Jerome Martin being sent to the Atlanta Hawks, and the Magic received DeAndre Bembry and Kevin Huerter. It is clear after the Nikola Vucevic signing that there is absolutely no need for Mo Bamba on the Magic's roster, and that the Magic would be willing to hear offers for their young big men. The Hawks already have a plethora of great young shooting guards and small forwards, but the one position they are clearly lacking at is the center position. Adding Mo Bamba, who is a defensive monster in the paint, who can also shoot from the outside, is a recipe for success on this Hawks team. The Hawks GM Travis Schlenk said during the 2018 draft that he is trying to build something similar to the Warriors, and in this draft he drafted Kevin Huerter and Trae Young. Travis Schlenk is always open to adding more shooters, and if he can add a shooter at a position of need, he will do it in a heartbeat. On the other hand, the Magic received Kevin Huerter and DeAndre Bembry, who can also help at their shooting guard and small forward positions. The Magic are clearly lacking at the small forward and shooting guard position, so adding these two can give them great depth at a position that they are clearly subpar at. On top of this, Huerter is a 6'7" shooter who can play next to Evan Fournier due to his size, shooting abilities, and defensive abilities. The Magic can add another great young player to their core of relatively young players, but this time the player they add is at a position of need. Definitely watch out for a trade along these lines to occur in the near future because it's a match made in heaven. With that said, let me know what your thoughts on the trades are in this video, and if you have any other trades you came up with, please comment them down below because I'm curious what you guys come up with. Also, if you've made it this far into the video, please make sure that you leave a like and subscribe to help support my channel, and I'm out and peace!